Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Joshua Buatsi defeats Zach Parker by a controversial 10-round majority decision. Before we talk about the main event, because my take on that fight might upset a few people, but before we get onto that fight, let's briefly talk about the two fights prior. Troy Jones versus Liam Cameron, a domestic 10-rounder at light heavyweight. Liam Cameron won a unanimous decision. I made a little note in my preview for this card. I was kind of getting tired of the poor old me sob story surrounding Liam Cameron. He's like Dave Allen light. You know, he's kind of going for that vibe. Poor me, poor me, poor me. And, well, it's poor Troy Jones because he well and truly got robbed in that fight. Felt he clearly beat Liam Cameron. Started very well. Cameron was very slow out of the gates. Was being outworked by Troy Jones. Liam Cameron finished the fight okay. Picked up the pace a little bit. But for me, he was thoroughly outworked throughout a lot of that fight. And, you know, Liam Cameron gets a sympathy decision. You know, maybe it's because of the image that he successfully cultivated for himself. I don't know, but he clearly lost that fight. Best fight on this card was the co-main event, Lyndon Arthur versus Bradley Ray for the European light heavyweight title. Felt this one was a close fight. Lyndon Arthur gets the majority decision. Bradley Ray started this fight very well, very aggressive, trying to force the pace on Lyndon Arthur, which discombobulated Lyndon Arthur early on. Arthur was dropped in round 2 with a heavy left hook. He was stunned in round 4 as well. And at that stage, it looked like Bradley Ray's energy might be a bit too much for Lyndon Arthur. But after like round 4, round 5, Lyndon Arthur started to get into his rhythm. Bradley Ray kind of lost that energy. And Lyndon was utilising that jab very effectively, his straight punches in general, also mixing the uppercut on the inside, picking some really, really good punches as this fight progressed. I felt it was a very close fight that Lyndon Arthur just about won. I felt it was a bit closer than the commentators were making out personally, but I felt if anybody won that fight, it was Lyndon Arthur. Clearly the best fight on the card, really enjoyable. Fair play to both guys. Both guys came and put on a show, really. No arguments there. Best fight of the night, easily. Main event. Joshua Buatsi beats Zach Parker by a 10-round majority decision. Commentators had this more or less a whitewash for Zach Parker. And listen, Joshua Buatsi in this fight looked slow, he looked ponderous, he looked off balance. He looked like a fighter that was maybe or is maybe long in the tooth. Really struggled to nail down Parker, really struggled to find the target. Parker was elusive, he was, throughout this fight, no doubt about it. And in terms of like who landed the better punches, it was Zach Parker, you know. Good singles, better jabs, decent uppercuts to the body, counter uppercuts to the body on Buatsi, as Buatsi would fall in. He was switching between orthodox and southpaw, Zach Parker, primarily fighting in orthodox. And yeah, if we're talking about scoring shots, I would agree Zach Parker landed more. So on paper, or in reality, I should be sitting here and saying, well, Zach Parker should have won, he got robbed. I disagree, he should have been disqualified. Let's be honest about it. What he did wasn't boxing, it wasn't fighting, it was running, it was spoiling, it was excessively breaking the rules. I mean, where do we start? Excessive holding, ducking below the waist, running. If you guys remember Vladimir Klitschko versus David Haye all those years ago, David Haye in that fight was finding the canvas on so many occasions when both fighters fell in for the clinch. Just finding the canvas really to take a breather, to reset. And Zach Parker was doing the exact same thing. I think he was taking the knee. He was finding the canvas to avoid the clinch because, you know, Buatsi, you would think, is the stronger guy. Zach Parker came up from 168, whereas Buatsi's been a career light heavyweight. You would think that in the clinch it might favour Buatsi a little bit, but there was no action in the clinch because on so many occasions, you know, Zach Parker would literally just take a knee. He would find the canvas, and he wasn't getting warned about it throughout this fight. He must have found the canvas at least 20 times. Again, his knees would touch the canvas. He was literally kneeling on the canvas on so many occasions. Honestly, if I was the referee, I would have called some of those knockdowns to make him stop doing it. Because yeah, there's some plausible deniability. You fall in for a clinch, you can get knocked down, you can lose your balance, whatever, right? It does happen, but doesn't happen 20 odd times. Parker was looking for the canvas to avoid action, to run out the clock. That's what he was doing. He was spoiling. Furthermore, he was initiating so many clinches, leading with clinches at times. Maybe he'd throw one shot then follow up with a clinch. So for me, Zach Parker's performance was horrible. It wasn't boxing. And again, fair enough. The argument is that he landed the clean shots in this fight. If we take the fight as the referee saw it, and we're talking about landed punches, then yeah, Zach Parker won the fight, but he should have been disqualified. You know, he should have been warned. If he didn't stop, then points, and then disqualification. He committed so many fouls in this fight, guys. I'm sorry. He just did. As for Buatsi, despite all that, he looked horrible, slow, ponderous, one punch at a time, off balance, you know, really struggling to get going, really struggling to inject pace in his performance. You know, you would think after 5, 6, 7 rounds that Buatsi would change something up, maybe double up a jab, maybe throw a couple of feints, half step back and try and draw the lead of Zach Parker, you know, to try and solve that negative puzzle that he was posing. But there was no adjustments from Buatsi, there was no injection of pace, there was no urgency, and to me, he looked like a fighter who was long in the tooth. It's hard to say because of just how negative Parker was, that I do have to take that into account, but from what I saw from Buatsi was not impressive whatsoever. And going forwards, his future in the light heavyweight division doesn't look bright. You know, forget about guys like Bivol Beterbiev or even Benavidez. We're talking about guys like Imam Kartayev, David Morrell. Buatsi, I can't see winning those fights based on that performance. You know, he was really, really poor. Really, really poor. And, yeah, his only saving grace for me, the only plausible deniability that Buatsi has is that his opponent wasn't there to box. He was there to spoil and cheat. So, there we go. It was a rubbish fight. Lyndon Arthur versus Bradley Ray should have been main event. It's that simple. And, yeah, awful fight. And yeah, to be brutally honest, I feel zero sympathy for Zach Parker. Share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Delboy. Peace.